So there's a wealth machine in this country that has been running for over 70 years. It's quietly built on the middle class. It funded retirements, it paid for college, it transferred wealth from one generation to the next. And right now in 2026, that is broken. And almost nobody is talking about it. The headlines are about mortgage rates, about home prices, about affordability. But the real story is not about any of those things. The real story is about a staircase. An entire generation that has stopped climbing it. If you are waiting for the right house at the right price and the right rate before you buy your first home, I need you to hear what I'm about to say, because the wait is not just costing you a house. It is costing you the financial foundation that every other major decision in your life gets built on. My name is Eric Hamilton. I'm branch manager and senior vice president of mortgage lending at Rate in the Chicagoland area. I've been in the business over 20 years. This channel is Apply with Eric, and we give buyers the real strategy, not what gets you through a transaction, what actually changes your financial outcome. If you're working toward homeownership and want to understand how the real decisions get made, subscribe to my channel. We post new content every week. It's free, and there's no pitch. Now, let me show you exactly how this machine worked, why it's broken, and what you can do about it right now. Here's how the American housing wealth machine worked for almost most of the 20th century. You bought your first home in your late 20s or early 30s. Not your dream home, a starter home. Smaller than what you wanted, a neighborhood that was not your first pick, and a kitchen that you always planned to update someday. You lived there 5 to 7 years. During those years, 3 things happened simultaneously without you having to think about them. The home appreciated slowly, consistently, not at a pandemic rates, just the natural 3 to 4% annual growth of a well-located piece of American real estate. You paid down principal every single month. Every payment moved the balance lower and your equity higher. And you did nothing else. You just lived your life. After 5 to 7 years, you sold that starter home and you had somewhere between $60,000 to $100,000 in equity, sometimes even more. Equity you built almost passively while paying for your place to live. You took that equity and you bought your home that you actually wanted. That is how the middle class wealth got built in America. One step at a time, one house at a time for the last 70 years. It was not complicated. It was not glamorous. It was a staircase. And every family that climbed it came out ahead. Now let me show you what the data says is happening to this machine right now. In the early 1990s, the median age of a first-time home buyer in America was 28 years old. In 2026, that number has climbed to an all-time high of 40 years old. 40 years old. Think about that compared to 28 years ago. That is a 12 years of equity building that an entire generation is not doing. 12 years of appreciation they are not capturing. 12 years of principal pay down that is going to someone else's balance sheet. And here is why the staircase is structurally harder to climb today. In the late 1970s, builders constructed approximately 418,000 entry-level homes every single year. Homes designed specifically for first-time homebuyers. Very modest, affordable, and built to be a very first step in housing. By 2020, that number had fallen all the way down to 65,000, an 84% decline in the supply of starter homes being built. Builders stopped building them because larger homes have much better margins. Zoning laws made smaller homes harder to permit, and the economics of construction pushed the entire industry up market. The first stair of the staircase did not get harder to reach. For millions of buyers, it nearly disappeared. The supply problem is only half the story. The other half is the mindset shift that happened so gradually, most people never noticed it. And according to a new survey released this month, 65% of buyers now expect their first home to be their forever home. Among millennials, that number is 67%. Entire generation has internalized the idea that they cannot buy the home they want to live in forever on their first try, that they should just not buy at all. So they wait. They wait for rates to drop. They wait for prices to fall. They wait until the layout is right and the neighborhood is perfect and the kitchen does not need any work. And while they wait, they pay rent. They build nothing, and that staircase gets further and further away. 58% of non-homeowners say buying a starter home and upgrading later simply makes no sense anymore. That one belief is the single most expensive financial decision most of them will ever make. Let me put real numbers to this data. A buyer who purchased a $350,000 starter home in 2019 has paid down approximately $35,000 in principal over the last 7 years. At 4% annual appreciation, that home is now worth about $460,000. Their equity position after 7 years, approximately $145,000 to $150,000 in equity. The renter who lived next door during those same 7 years at $2,000 a month paid $168,000 to their landlord. Their equity position after 7 years is zero. One person is sitting on $150,000 in equity, ready to climb to the next step. The other is starting the exact same place that they started 7 years ago. And the buyer who waited for the perfect home in 2019 is still waiting in 2026. The home they almost bought now cost $110,000 more. The rate they were afraid of was 3.5%. The wait did not protect them. It cost them everything the staircase would have built for them. I want to say something I think about a lot, and I do not hear enough people say out loud. Leading housing economists have warned that the current trajectory of creating a permanent renter class in America is very real, not a temporary setback, a permanent class. People who never get on the staircase, who never build the equity, who retire with nothing but Social Security and a landlord. That is not a political statement, it is a mathematical one, and is entirely preventable for the people willing to take that first step. So there's a real question for you, and maybe drop your answer in the comments. Where are you right now in the staircase? Are you on the ground? Are you somewhere in between? Have you thought about getting on the staircase? I always read every single comment, and I want this community to know what their next step is. Now let me be direct about the first step actually looks like in today's market, because it's very different than what it was in 1985. Step one in 2026 is probably not a 3-bedroom, single-family home in your ideal neighborhood at a 3% rate. Step one in 2026 might be a townhome. It might be a condo, a home in a neighborhood you maybe not would have chosen first, maybe a little bit further from work, a home that needs some work but has solid bones, a home that is right financially, even if it's not the perfect home for you right now. Step one is the home that gets you on the staircase, not the home that you want to land on at the top. This is exactly what the generation that built middle-class wealth in America understood. Your first home was never supposed to be your forever home. It was supposed to be the launch pad. The kitchen you planned to update someday was just fine. The neighborhood that was not your first pick became your community. The home that was smaller than what you wanted felt enough because you understood what it was building in wealth. If you're waiting for the dream, you're going to keep waiting. If you are willing to take the first step, the dream gets closer every month. You own instead of rent. In the southwest suburbs of Chicago and Will County, entry-level single-family homes and townhomes still exist for $250,000 to $325,000. Homes that are livable today and appreciating steadily. These are not glamorous. They are not the home on your vision board right now, but they are real equity, and they are accessible to buyers who are financially ready and strategically prepared. The buyers winning in this market right now are not waiting for the perfect home. They have decided the first step is worth taking, and they are backed by a process that gets them cleared, gets them competitive, and gets them moving. The staircase still exists. It is just a little harder to see all the way from the sidewalk. How we help buyers is we help them get on the staircase. Our team is not built just to close loans. We are built to get buyers on the staircase. That starts with real conversations about where you are financially, not just where you qualify. What does your equity look like in year 3, 5, or 7 years down the line? What does the staircase look like from where you are standing today? That is what mortgage strategy is all about. You walk into your search knowing your number, knowing your payment, knowing what step one looks like for you specifically. And every conversation we have starts with your numbers, your real payment, your equity position, not just what you qualify for. Does your home put you in a stronger financial position in 5 years from now? And are you better off in 5 years buying versus renting? That's what mortgage strategy accomplishes. That is the mission. Get buyers on the staircase, build the equity, protect the wealth machine that funded the middle class over the last 70 years. Because when nobody takes the first step, the whole system stops working. And the people who pay the price are not the investors. They are the renters who never had a chance to build anything. The wealth machine is not gone. The staircase still exists today, but it does not work unless someone's willing to take the first step. The average first-time homebuyer right now is 40 years old. In 1990, it was 28. Those 12 years are not just a statistic. They are $150,000 in equity that never got built, a step that never got taken, a next home that never got bought. You do not have to be a part of that number. If you're ready to figure out what step one looks like for you right now, the link is in the description. That conversation starts before the search. And if you know someone who has been waiting on the sidelines for the perfect moment, share this video with them today. Because the best time to take the first step was 7 years ago. The second best time is right now.